It is Friday, the end of the work week, and for our American friends, the start of a long weekend. Jeff Bratt joined by the future president of the Toronto Maple Leafs, that being Elisa Blow. There is a job opening if you are interested.
I heard that. You know, the other thing too is, unfortunately, I was scheduled to take the day off today because today was supposed to be opening day at Splashworks at Canada's Wonderland, but they've had to delay it till next week. Would you want to be out there splashing around?
No. And you know what, too? I find this weekend, it's either like 30 degrees or like 10 degrees.
Okay, so last night, I told you, if you don't have an electric blanket, you're missing out.
I do not.
You got to
have
put
one.
that on your Christmas list for next year.
I do not have one.
I got one from the team down at Ascot Thoroughbreds for Christmas.
Yeah.
Love it, love it, love it. Cranked up to 10 last night. Beautiful. But when I woke up this morning, because I'm being a stickler about turning the heat on, the house was 52 degrees.
That's a quick run to the bathroom.
Yeah, but under a 10 heated blanket, that's not bad at all.
That's tough. Now, the good news is for today, as opposed to last night, the rain has subsided, which is terrific. We'll see what type of impact that has on the track. But nothing could dampen our spirits after what I saw this morning.
Oh, what was that?
Oh, well, I woke up. I was in a very chipper mood because it's Friday. I get to see you, get to cover the races here today. And I go on the old X.
Yes.
Which it used to be known as
Formerly
Twitter.
known as Twitter.
Now, X is like a cesspool.
I know.
90% of the time. But 10% of the time, you get some really cool stuff. And this morning, I'm scrolling, I'm half awake, I'm like, and I see this.
Me
the
too.
return of Emma Wilson, her first time galloping back after her injury last year, and she got aboard one for conditioner Julia Carey, and then she got on another one for Rachel Holden later on the day as well. So I said, it's like riding a bike. She's like, yep.
And you know what, Jeff? I can tell you, it is. I mean, you can do all the work you want on the Equicizer. You can do all the work you want, you know, with your weight training and the yoga and Pilates and all those things that Emma's been doing to get herself fit, but there's nothing better than swinging your leg over a horse's back and looking through those ears. The first ride back, and look, I've never suffered an injury like Emma has, but I've had my own little bumps and bruises along the way and taken a little bit of time off. The first ride back, you have a smile from like one end to the, I'm getting goosebumps just thinking about it, smile from one end to the other, and you really do feel like you're flying on the horse.
Yeah, for sure. The only analogy I kind of have, and it's not even close to that, like if I don't play hockey for like a year or something like that, and I get back on the ice, it just feels so good.
Yeah, you're like, this is something I love. And so I'm really happy to see that.
Absolutely.
I saw that this morning when I was toasty.
Yeah, no, that was really, really cool to see. So I don't know. And the one thing I give Emma a ton of props for is she's never set a timeline.
Nope.
She's just letting her body say when she's ready to go.
That's
so I don't know how long
do.
she's going to wait before she starts working horse and stuff like that. But I imagine that's going to take a little while to get back and
listen, she's got nothing to prove.
And lots of time. Yeah.
Lots of time. Do what your body tells you is the right thing to do. And I think all she's trying to do is prove it to herself that she's
come back,
capable of doing this again. And hey, good
she's
for her.
not that far away from 2,000 wins too.
Isn't that incredible?
So I think that's kind of a milestone she really wants to get to.
See her galloping, you got to figure, like just like a racehorse, she's going to have to breeze a few horses to get herself, fit to do that too. And then the stamina and the air is going to build back up for her, and hopefully we'll see her in a month or so.
Last night here at Woodbine, we had 7 races, and for the most part, it was fairly formful, I would say. I guess Twin City was a bit of a surprise.
That was,
that was a bit of a surprise, but a cool horse. Looked fantastic in the paddock, I thought too.
Well, the other thing too, and it came to me when we were in the paddock last night, was that horse doesn't like the heat. And it was such a nice cold night that he really benefited from that. I think the other shocker for me on the program was Shamrock, the horse coming in from Hastings that couldn't win for
surprise.
4. Yeah, that was a shocker.
Big surprise for sure. And there's looking how the track played last night. Favorites. For smaller fields to only win 2 races, that's a bit of a surprise.
You know what else happened yesterday too? We had another horse go 2 for 2. Hanlon.
Yeah, Hanlon. Boy, he looks good, doesn't he?
John Coriat, just play anything that barn sends out.
And I like a first-time start they have coming up on Sunday as Cardiff Racing. So yeah, we'll keep a keen eye on that. And one of the cool things that we have access to, because we are Woodbine employees, is the rundown for the overnight that goes.
You do. I don't seem to have access
I'll
to
add
that.
it to the list. Yeah. Anyways, there's at least 2 turf races going on Thursday's card.
Fingers crossed.
Weather permitting.
We need
one on
this
the
weather.
inner and one on the outside turf course as well.
Yeah, okay,
so
well, hopefully.
Turf will be back as well. And kind of a bit of a odd story in here, but as you know, at home, I got rid of the pool.
Yes, I know.
Pool's gone.
Yeah, no more pool boy.
But the sod that we put down is like this big now. It's like, I'm like, because they said to wait like 3 weeks before cutting it.
You know what you should do? You should get one of the racehorses on the backstretch that looks to
start
retire
grazing.
as a lawnmower.
Yeah.
I told him to get a dog. I think Jeff needs a dog.
No, I do need a dog. I do need a dog for sure. That would go a long, long way and get me fit and out of the house a little bit more. Okay, are you ready for the countdown portion of the broadcast?
I am.
Okay, so our first topic is value. We're always trying to focus in on some value. So let's talk about race number 2 on the program a little bit here. So we're going to skip the opener. We're going to get to race number 2 on the program. And where are we going where I can make some money?
Well, I was kind of thinking you could look at this Norm McKnight horse. The issue is I don't think you're going to make any money if you happen to play this one. And the other thing too, Jeff, is this to me, it looks like a bad claim, right? You take the horse for $25,000, you winter him down at Oaklawn, he probably couldn't stand up on the dirt course down there, he's beat 30 lengths and now he resurfaces for $7,500. Like normally you'd see something like that and you'd say, well, there's a hot potato, like we'll just skip over him altogether. But he does show a massive move in the morning getting ready in 46-2, and it's Norm. So I'm not really that concerned because over the years we've seen Norm do these kind of things. Sometimes you just gotta drop a horse in and see if you can unload it. But I used the 4. I did use the 3 horse as well. It's just money for Steve Flint. This barn was off to a bit of a slow start, Jeff.
Yep.
But things are starting to pick up. And, you know, he went down to the fairgrounds. So, you know, a lot of those horses, we talked about this yesterday, a lot of the horses that went down south, we're just wondering if some of them might be getting a little tired after what they went through over the winter months.
And look who he ran against last time out, ran against Hamlin. That horse come back to win. There's now 4 horses who come out of that last race to win. Hamlin, At the Station, Sparklet, and Saoirseoin have all come of that last race to win.
Isn't that interesting? So, you know, now looking at it and you're saying to yourself, is there a possible key here in this race? And especially now that we know, you know, yesterday the track really did play well to speed. We didn't start to change up how the races formed until the last race on the program when a closer came in.
It's time to be serious.
Is it?
We have to be very serious now because it's the serious portion of the broadcast. Because that's what it says, serious.
Oh, okay.
So let's be serious now. I don't think we're ever serious on this show, by the way. But tell me why I should be serious about Serious Green.
Because, you know, one thing that I watch, and I did this last year a couple of times, and it worked out for some really good priced winners, was watching horses making their first start back that I thought were, like if I owned the horse or I trained the horse, I'd be really, really happy with that first start out. And now I'd be kind of going back to my owner and saying, don't worry, boss, next time we're going to win. And that's what I'm looking at with Serious Green. So Serious Green is a barrow horse. Now, he was in against Maidens for a Quarter, same tag that she's in for here today. She was going 3/4, same distance that she's traveling here today. And it might have been a little bit of a rocky trip. You know, she might have got bumped around just slightly. And then she kind of takes a little funny hop step too here at one point also. But, you know, that being said, the winner you weren't going to catch. This is a horse up on the front end. This is Hoodless. This was a Kevin Attard horse, likely Pietro aboard for the win, right? But if it's my horse, Serious Green, and I'm watching this really nice little effort from this filly, I think I'm setting myself up for a really good race here today. So watch for this horse here. You know, ears are up, trying really hard, I thought. You know, digging in would be, you know, a good way to put it too. And like I said, I just think it sets her up for another good effort here today. And because we don't have to worry about a horse like Hoodless, she becomes, I think, the power player in this race. You know, Tino's got a first-time starter in here that's kind of interesting, right?
Very.
Yeah, and that's this little Alexa. Now, she was on the also list last weekend, and then, of course, scratched. We find her here today with Sahin Savachi doing the riding. And that mare is a good mare. She was a 4-time winner. She made almost $100,000. She's had 4 foals that have made it to the races, and one of them just happens to be a stake winner as well. So we'll watch for that horse here today, too. But off of that effort, I think we might be able to get a little bit of a price. And guess who's riding this one in an early race, Jeff?
Yeah, Leo
Salas. And that's just a trend that we've noticed. Leo won the first race on the program yesterday. We don't generally see Leo winning races later in the card. We just tend to see him winning races early in the program. So I'd watch for this one.
Little Alexa was on the Alsos for 40, now raced for 25. I find that interesting. And I find that Twisting Pistons, who I'm going to pick in here, not dropping off the long layoff is a positive sign as well.
Yeah. And then there's good work coming back in 59 and 3 as well.
Gotta see what the script says we're going to next year.
Me too.
It says topic 3, the pick 4.
Okay.
And we'll put the pick 4 tickets in behind us. It's like Wheel of Fortune.
Yes.
It's a phrase. Has Ryan Seacrest started? Is he doing the Wheel
I
of
saw
Fortune now?
something, an ad on TV the other day that Pat and Vanna were back to do Celebrity Wheel of
I
Fortune.
can't keep
So I
track of
don't like
everything.
Pat Sajak gave up the best gig ever giving up that job. I mean, come on, work 5 days a year for how many millions of dollars?
Now, the repeat winner thing has started to become a bit of a trend in here. Does Get Out the Vote keep the trend going?
I kind of think so.
Yeah,
Because,
so.
you know, I like this move that Eric Ragonaut's doing here today because, you know, the horse breaks are maiden for 10. And I know she's 5. It took her a while, you know, but she was a lightly raced 5-year-old. And they dropped her in for 10 at the beginning of the season, but it's the 3rd start in the form cycle. You know, so she's been kind of busy. This will already be her 3rd start. But the track played really well to speed yesterday, and I like what he's doing off of that easy score by 5 lengths, dropping her into face nominers of 2, so winners for the very first time for $7,500. The only threat, I think, in this race is another possible speed horse, and that's the 2 Scored.
I don't know what to do with her.
The last race, I'm just going to basically forget about, but if she can get on the front end or really, really close to the front end, that's when she runs her best races. I think she's kind of one of those types, Jeff. Like, we've seen some horses like that in the past. I'm thinking of some standardbreds that we've seen over the winter months that if they're not sitting 1, 2, 3, they don't bother to try.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of the same thing with this filly here today. So I'll use the 4 and the 2. I think that's a logical exactor. And then how do you leave out Debbie Ramos? Because her barn's so live right now.
Yeah, no, she's doing everything right at this portion of the proceedings. Race 4 starts off the pick 4. Let's talk a little tabloid. Are you one of those people, like, were you back in the day, did you read, like, People and stuff like that?
Oh, People's not a tabloid.
Okay, what was a tabloid?
National Enquirer.
Yeah, did you ever
like
read that
aliens
stuff?
landed.
Yeah,
exactly.
You read that stuff?
I just at the checkout
Yeah,
at the grocery
exactly.
store,
Just
but I don't
just
think I
the
ever bought
Just
one.
read the cover.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. Because we have tabloid material in here, who's a best bet for Doug, I believe. Fandu. Is this a Pac-Man horse? Like, she loves to eat the money and she rarely wins. But is today the day?
Well, it's a whole new year for her, so I guess we could give her another go here today as she takes a drop in for $15,000, which is similar to what Michelle Love is doing with her horse, Tabloid Material. I don't know if you've noticed, I know Jeff has, but you people watching have noticed that Michelle seems to be dropping a whole bunch of horses in, and a lot of them are dropping out of these restricted stakes events in for low price tags, you know, $10,000, $15,000. It's almost like she's cleaning house, you know, getting rid of the stock that she has and trying to rejuvenate maybe what she's got after these horses are gone with maybe some young horses or some horses that she'll claim and add to the outfit. But I did use the 6 up on top. I used Super Cop because I'll tell you what,
That's who I used.
Super Cop really looked good in the first start back on May the 10th and behind Silver Bullet Lady, who, you know, was an easy winner, and she always kind of wins, and she's sharp first start of the season. But I kind of found last year for Bev, at least, it took a while to get her barn rolling, and then this horse pops up with a pretty big effort, got claimed out of that race, and is now moving into the Icon Racing stable, who almost had another winner on the program yesterday.
Yeah, ran very well in the second place position.
Coming off a year layoff, basically.
And I'm going to go towards Super Cup. It's a bit of a quick comeback for the horse, but that tends to be the theme for a lot of horses that are back in action here today. 13 days rest. I like the fact that one who knows the horse is sticking with that one too.
That's always interesting because you know one knows this horse probably better than anybody on the grounds because he likely gallops the horse too because he does a ton of work for Bev Chubb in the morning.
Yep. I think it's time to go to the lake.
Okay. We did talk about that. That one day, if one of us hits $1 million, we're going to retire and move
that's
to the
going to
lake.
happen too.
He's going to get a riding lawnmower.
And this might shock a lot of people. I'm not a big roller coaster guy.
No.
So my favorite ride at Canada's Wonderland is the Swans. I can just sit there in the lake and just enjoy things.
With his 99 sunscreen on.
Right. So tell me about Swan Lake, because the horse has a big price on the line at odds of 12-1.
Come on, you know, I'm trying to find a horse at a price for us today,
one.
and I got one. I mean, I like this horse because basically Jeff and I do our handicapping before the morning line comes out.
Yep.
And I've had this horse up on top, and I'm like, you know what? I really like this horse. And then I saw what Ernie made the horse. I think it was like 12-1. I thought, oh yeah, this is definitely going to be my long shot play of the day. How popular is this horse in the claim box? Like, I can't even tell you how many times this horse was claimed back in 2024. I almost wanted to look it up, but just on the paper that you see alone, you see at least 6 or 7 claims. Every time the horse is in for 10, the horse gets claimed. And the other cool fact is that he can run an 81. You know, he can run a really big number. He ran a 91 at Gulfstream back in July of 2024. Oh, good. And I didn't even know that Robert went over. You know, Robert needs a tan. He's almost as white as the nose on Swan Lake. We all need to go and get some sunshine. But this horse is huge for $10,000. Always claim. That means, you know, you're talking about a horse who at least appears to be sound, because, you know, people wouldn't drop the slip if there was something going on. I think you're going to see some speed from this horse here today, and hopefully we'll be able to get a bit of a price. So I'm going to use the 6 over the 3 Sunrise Drive from Norm McKnight, because, you know, the problem with Sunrise Drive is, and I mean, we'll see how this track plays out, but this horse is a closer.
But the Lone Route race went to a closer yesterday.
That's right. So at least we have that on our side. So I got a speed horse and a closer, so I'm covered either way.
Horse is coming back from 1.75 miles, that horse is, to go 1 mile to 16th. I think there's some pace to chase in that one. Okay, you're going to yell at me for saying this. Swan Lake, is that like a ballet or something like that?
It is.
All right. That's how culturally savvy I am.
You never saw the movie The Black Swan?
No.
Oh, you got to watch that with Natalie Portman. That's a great.
No,
tonight that's on your agenda. I gave him the password to all of my accounts, so you might as well use them.
And then I'm like, Elisa, I need you to confirm this account on the email, because they're going to give you a verification code.
Yeah, I felt sorry for him because he said, I want to watch the Leafs
hockey
games.
game. I don't have Prime. I'm like the only person in North America that doesn't have Prime.
But you found a ding-dong that gave you the account.
Yes, that's right. 7th race on the day. Let's talk a little quality, shall we? So Royal Quality, you know, at first glance, you look back at the last race, you're like, good effort. And then all of a sudden, Valerian Sky comes out and runs huge the other day. Who beat this horse?
Yeah, and that's exactly why I'm going this way today with Royal Quality. Here's Uncle Leo back in. You know, we like him here in this race. Valerian Sky was second the other day for 10 in a 10 or 5 starter. That was last Sunday. So that is a great reference for Royal Quality. And the same thing as I was showing you earlier on with Sirius Green. If this is my horse, you know, I'm pretty happy about this effort that she had back on May the 4th. So this is a Roy Augustino horse. Now, I believe Roy's based at Fort Erie. We see him there an awful lot. So, you know, this is a horse that he can have a little bit of fun with here at Woodbine, but I guess if he wants to, this could be a nice little horse at Fort Erie too. I just like the effort from this horse on this day, with a nice closing effort to end up finishing in second. You know, it's good enough for me. So I like that. I like the 5 Dissectologist a little bit too, Jeff, because it's a nice horse. And when I say nice horse, I mean he's friendly. Like, this is the kind of horse that could go live in your backyard and probably cut the grass for you. Yeah, he's just super cool. And I would assume that when Michelle dropped him in for 75, this is one of the other ones that she was dropping in, that they probably were sad to see him go, because he's just such a friendly horse to be around. But he moves now into the Joe Russo outfit, and he moves up off of the claim for $15,000, and he gets a new pilot today in Sofia Vivez, who's so good out of the gate. This horse might just hustle right out of the gate here today. I also used the 4 JMR Speedy Escape because of that Valerian Sky reference. This is the other Chirkop horse, because he trains Valerian Sky. So this is the other one, the stablemate that ended up finishing 3rd. They seem like the logical 3 for me, but like, I don't really know what to do with a horse like the 1, because he's only raced once, and then I don't, like, once last year, and then Red Sneakers, he's been off for such a long time.
Boy, Sid's got a couple coming off of a long layoffs.
But he's getting a good rider. Like, that's very interesting. You know, he's bringing back horses that haven't raced in a long, long time, but he's getting the top bug.
Yeah, that is true. Let's talk a little plays, shall we? We're going to drop some plays. Sometimes they go well, sometimes they don't go all that well.
Like yesterday?
But yeah, yesterday was a bit of a tough one for us in here. But you're going to go lead off in here. Take us through your plays of the day.
Well, Sirius Green made my watch list, so we're going to put him, and I'm going to play him with this first-time starter in that race as well. We talked about that. That's in race number 3. Ready off the rest, I'll try Van Du for a hot barn. My long shot here is Swan Lake. We talked about this one from the Zelko Kretschmar outfit. Super popular, went in for $10,000. And my best bet is Royal Quality in the last race. I'm going to key that horse in my jackpot high 5.
All right, let's see if we have any similarities along the way in here. Yeah, Royal Quality is definitely on my selection board. My multi-leg single is Celentano. I hope they've taken an edge. My price play is going to be Super Cop. I just think that horse might be able to run well yet again. And my best bet of the day is going to be Sunrise Drive. There's a lot of pace in that race, and I just kind of need them all to go. And hopefully I can close effectively here on Sunrise Drive. So I'm going to roll the dice, a couple of 4s and a couple of 3s. Well, speaking of 3s, we'll keep it going here. Ron picking a first-time starter with his best bet, the aforementioned little Alexa.
Oh, yeah, that's a Tino horse.
Yes, so that's one that Ron's going to go towards, and Doug says tabloid material for the Michelle Love outfit. That one on the board at odds of 5-2. So those are our plays of the day from Lisa and I and our 2 scribes, one from the Journal and one from the Daily Racing Forum. Clocker report. Just one on the board today. And I don't mind this horse on Tenacious.
Tenacious.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Mike Mattini will send out this one. First start of the campaign for this horse coming up in race number 5.
Okay, so that's an interesting one. Let me just go to race number 5 and see what I got on this one. Yeah, good last spring, that's for sure.
Very good.
You know, you look up this horse last season, and she ran very, very well as a 3-year-old early on. And of course, Ernie points out the same thing. She can run very well fresh.
Yeah, and they're taking advantage of the waiver claim. And that barn's been very quiet to start off the year in terms of not starting a lot of horses. So I wonder if they were maybe late shipping in.
You can give everybody mulligan because of the weather, I
it's
think,
been
too.
terrible.
You know, and you got to take your time. You can't just run these horses off a couple of works.
And listen, we're all frustrated with the smaller fields that we've had as of late, but I think that's the way a lot of people look at it. You know, it's like a 9-month season here. So
that, we're frustrated with the weather, you know, that too. And, you know, I think obviously once turf racing starts, we'll see some bigger fields.
MVP. We know what the MVP of this broadcast is. When we come back, we'll tell you who has been the MVP of the early season here at Woodbine when we continue on Woodbine Racing Live.
Love horse racing? HPIBet.com is Canada's leader in online horse betting. Access thousands of live races from hundreds of tracks worldwide instantly. Enjoy the most advanced betting tools like AI Smart Picks and exclusive cashback rewards you won't get anywhere else. Join today and get up to $100 in free bets. Get the ultimate horse betting experience with HPIBet.com.
This is the biggest race in the world. Pinch me, I think I'm dreaming.
They're off, Midland Dubai World Cup.
And they're at Tbred. 2 of the great racehorses in the world. Giant Killer, by name and by nature. A race for the ages.
Yeah, Rule of the Day Slates coming up on August the 16th as we welcome you back inside the studio. It is Elisa, it is Jeff. We want to say hi to a very special viewer, our friend Beth, watching from beautiful Lexington, Kentucky. Because you know
I didn't even tell him to do that, Mom.
Let's touch on, say the season came to an end today. Thankfully it's not, but let's say it did. And you had to vote for your MVP, just for fun. Who would you give it to right now?
I vote for the same guy I voted for a Sovereign Award for, and he won by
1 vote.
Yeah, he did, and that's Kevin Attard. But obviously, Kevin is only one part of the equation. Pietro's been doing a lot of riding for him too.
For sure, and they're going to team up yet again today, and they're hoping to have a lot of success for the remainder of the season. What's so cool about this relationship too, Elisa, is the fact that Pietro, he galloped a lot for Kevin prior to him starting to ride. He obviously won a stake race for him last season, and they've had some success this year with Mancetti, who I have been told is working amazing, getting ready for the Queenston Stakes coming up in the not-too-distant future as we take a look at some stats for you to pass along in here. And the only negative with Pietro is you don't get any money if you bet him, because his horse get bet. But with Kevin, he still has a very nice ROI.
I still like that nickname I gave him last year, the Babyface Bandit.
I just like the fact he looks like he's like 10 in that picture.
It's great. He's going to like that too in about 20 years. But yeah, this was pretty interesting watching Mancetti. And the cool part too, after this race was over, when I interviewed Kevin, and he said, if you would ask me if this was a plate horse last year, I would have said no.
Yeah.
Then all of a sudden, this horse is on the list.
Yeah, and you know, Mancetti is kind of a fun horse too, because they took a shot with him down in New York. That didn't go well, but they were able to regroup with him in here. And what I like about this particular race that we're looking at right now is the fact that on this day he wasn't able to get to the front, so he kind of had to stalk a little bit in here, but now he gets towards the outside and it kicks on very nicely.
Yeah, I'm excited to watch him go again. You know, this obviously is just the first stepping stone this year on the road to the plate, but this would be certainly a lot of fun if they had a live horse going into this year's edition. Now today they have Van Du together, so we'll be watching for that. I did use that horse on top. And tomorrow they team up in race number 4 with Sinclarity, who's looking to become a perfect horse, right?
Yeah.
So a perfect 3 for 3, but also one of our other 2 for 2 winners so far in the season. And the only knock I have now is the fact that One Jab Too Many just didn't show up yesterday.
So
that horse ran second to Sinclarity.
Right, in terms of reference for that race.
Just,
I got
you know,
it,
like, I mean, I was expecting a lot more from One Jab Too Many yesterday.
Yeah, it was a little flat yesterday, for sure.
And, you know, so we'll see. But yeah, watch for them. That horse is installed at 9 to 5 in race number 4 on Saturday.
So let's take a look at some jockey-trainer combinations. Always fun to take a look at who's had the most success early on in the meets, and we'll find out what the stats are going to tell us. Now, we obviously know about the jockey-trainer combo of Pietro and Marty and Kevin Attard, but let's see some other combinations to maybe keep an eye on in here. Oh, we're just doing this stat, sorry. So here it is, and they've combined 16 starts. ROI is good, $268,000, and in the money 56.3% of the time.
Yeah, and doesn't like half of the Moran family work for Kevin too?
Probably. That sounds about right. But one of the coolest things at the Sovereigns was they had a table of just Morans.
Yeah, well, there's enough of them.
No, it was really,
like you can't even bring a date because there's enough Morans that you can't have a +1.
They had so many people that Pietro got booted to another table.
I heard that.
So congratulations to our early season MVP co-winners, we could say. Pietro and obviously conditioner Kevin Attard as well. But it's a long way to go. We've got 2-year-olds coming up on the weekend.
How exciting.
The fillies. We've got grass coming up a week yesterday on Thursday. We've got 3-pack of stake races on one day coming up in the not too distant future. Like things are really starting to rev up.
Yeah, well, June is almost here.
Yeah. June.
Yeah.
Warm temperatures, please. This is ridiculous. I got nothing else to say. What about you?
I'm good. I'm good for the day, I think.
All right.
Yeah. Good? You're good? Yeah. What about your Leafs? Did you guys get a new GM or whatever you're looking for?
New presidents, yeah.
Okay.
They offered me a job. I couldn't take the pay cut. When we come back, it's all set for the opener. Horses are arriving inside for race number 1. The first of 7 on a Friday is coming up next.